Got it. Got it. Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. Triaging. Matt, I got to tell you, the food was excellent. The game was a joke.
Yeah, the game was not even background noise. It was horrible.
It's a good thing that the reverse sear.
It's a good thing that TCU team didn't show up against Michigan, because it would have been 63-7 also. They looked like a TCU team that everybody else thought they would be. What the hell?
How many wins does TCU have if they play in the SEC?
5.
5. Horned Frogs. Sorry about that. Yeah, Georgia won the over by themselves.
Right. Did they really? I didn't see what the over under.
I don't know what the over under was, but
it was probably definitely sick. It was probably 60. So you're probably right.
Brutal. Brutal. You like a good championship game, you know? I mean, I do. I don't know what the fuck.
I wanted a good one.
Just apparently. Slowly we turn step by step. Matt, let me share. The World Economic Forum in Davos is commencing, and I'm bringing this one back up. One of Bob Moran's great ones. This was the Asia Pacific conference.
When they were all wearing the G shirts.
Yes, they all had the Your Excellency. Just crushing freedom. And I know that's what the agenda is at the World Economic Forum, for sure. Remember Maria Bartiromo, she used to go there and just hobnob. She's fully changed her tune.
Yeah. They must not have paid her enough or paid her off.
I wanted to share that. And then I wanted to share, hold on, we're going to get to Ken Griffin. Yeah, it's just weird how extreme weather is causing heart disease.
It's the weather. Let's get some more taxes. Let's get some more taxes, because climate change is causing these sudden deaths. It's crazy how it's happening.
It's amazing how weather can do this. How it never did it before, but it's doing it now.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to point this out because I don't know what the facts are, right? I'm not here to tell you what the facts are. But when you hear somebody say they're not happening, well, if they're not happening, why do we have headlines like this left, right, and center? If they're not happening, right. There's no need for the headline unless they were happening.
Yeah. If you just say they're not happening and then don't come with an explanation, that's one thing. But if you're saying they're happening and then it's because of weather, then what is it? Which is it? Can't have it both ways.
And the ultimate blasphemy, Chef Gruel sharing, I'll say it again, peak absurdity. This is a stupid junk. The thesis was pre-written. It's amazing how they just have you're supposed to have the hypothesis and the conclusion. They have the conclusion first in a lot of this stuff. Biden administration weighs nationwide ban on gas stoves.
Right.
That is not good for our natural gas play, for sure. And it is not good for me in the kitchen. All right. It is not good for me in the kitchen. I prefer cooking on natural gas. Hell, I prefer cooking over an open fire.
Right.
It's very caveman-esque. Anyway, I don't want to jump there. We're going to talk banks today. And it was this little thread from Genevieve, a great thread about how Citadel is just killing it, man. It's absolutely killing it. 38% in a year in one of their funds. And they buy order flow, right? They buy order flow and then they get to trade against it mostly. And as an old floor trader, I will tell you that, in fact, the Merck put in a ban on dual trading because of this very thing. Right. If you have the order flow, you are in a giant advantage over everybody else. If you know the book, you get to trade the book. Literally, you get to trade what is happening, what is being set up in the book. And he's brilliant for it, being able to find that loophole. Now, Congress is trying to say that they're going to close the loophole. I'm tending to doubt that, Matt. So we're going to talk banks here because Jamie Dimon was on Fox today, and he said what we've been talking about kind of roundabout way. We've talked a lot about this DEES 23, DEES 24 Eurodollar spread, and him saying that the Fed is not going to they're not going to ease rates anytime in the near future, the near to mid future. Like he doesn't see it possibly being able to happen. So I find it interesting that, we saw that Goldman was laying off people. JP said they were laying off people. But for sure, they're not laying off their traders, because this year is going to be one hell of a trading year.
Yeah, honestly, I don't, we're talking about this a little, pre-gaming the show today. And, the trading desks are real small numbers compared to administration and M&A and the investment banking groups and all the people that are associated with getting deals, right? It's a big group. They're huge. And that's where they make the big money. So it's hard to believe, but yeah, when the good thing about trading is when investment banking gets slow, then trading gets busy, right? That's kind of their model. So they stay around but do you really need to ramp up more traders just to add a zero? No, you really don't. So I don't think trading groups really expand and contract that much. You don't hear about it, right? Because when they get busy, they just get busy. So they kind of, keep a staff for all conditions. It's not, you don't need more traders because, with computers and everything, you really don't, Bob. So, you just need a small group to run most of these things. So when you hear about these people dropping off, it is on the investment banking side, 100%.
All right, let's look at, we haven't looked at the banks. I don't think we've looked at them yet this year. So let's do a little due diligence on.
Yeah, JP Morgan's had a heck of a run again, from the October lows, basically $100, and it's up 40%. So JP's in a heck of a run. And so Jamie should be pretty happy with that, I would think, right off the get-go here. I mean, that looks pretty good. 100 to 140, and it's double topping here in the 138s. Fractal out a little bit, longer time frame. What do we have here? Again, it's kind of a nice bounce, 173 to 100.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they're ringing the bell again, I would say here. Good time to buy some puts. Maybe you buy some 150 puts, something like that, because this level up here is a possibility. So, buy in the monies and time. I would give yourself, if you're going to do something like that, I would go 6 to 9 months out. But this is a good time to do it. It is a really good time to do it, quite frankly. Let's see what Morgan Stanley looks like. We haven't looked at that. And MS is trading 88.45. Again, this is a longer term chart, been as high as 109-ish there recently. That was the high. And again, it fell off down here to this area, but this still has cleanup to do. I mean, COVID low is way down here, Bob. So these banks really benefited from these COVID policies. And, their M&A groups and everything were swamped and busier than ever during these times. Citigroup, kind of going through them here. Same thing, not as pretty,
No, absolutely, it's unbelievable. In fact, I'm buying Morgan Stanley, selling JP and Citi.
Yeah. Well, you're buying, you mean Citi, and selling that Morgan and JP, I think is what you meant. But yeah, this does not. But this, again, this doesn't look that bullish. COVID low on Citigroup was 32, got down to 40 there at the end of the year, and sitting just a little bit off that low again, just kind of playing in that bracket here, kind of 40 to 55, it looks like, on the Citigroup. And then just for shits and giggles, since you wanted to talk Ken Griffin, he owns a big chunk of Robin the Hood, and Robin the Hood got down to 7s. And
well, the amazing thing, Matt, too, that I think that is important to understand is Robinhood doesn't represent anywhere near the total flow of the market, right?
No.
But let me just flesh this out with you a little bit. They predict elections on 2% of the exit polling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though this is a very small sliver of the total flow, you can build out a model that shows what the rest of the market is where they're leaning, where the stops are. You know what I mean? You're following me? Yeah. So it's an incredibly huge piece of information for them to have. Mm-hmm. To buy the flow, to own part of it, so they can see the full book that this small entity is representing. And then fractal out. All right, well, if all these stops are here in Robinhood, that means the whole rest of the market's got them too. And it's just, I can't tell you how powerful it is to be able to have that information at your fingertips, to know where the pain points are. And when we always talk about the market's job is to find the pain points. Well, if you know where they are.
So you were going to talk a little bit about a thread about Ken Griffin and Citadel and what they did. So do you have some of that you want to share with us? Or not?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not. I just, it's Genevieve. It's a good thread. She points out just the amount of money, $7.5 billion they made last year. Now they're either really good, reading the tea leaves, or they're really good at taking advantage of the information flow that they have. And I'm going to lean towards the second part of it. I'm going to lean towards that they're really good at taking advantage of the information flow. Believe me, I was a way better trader in the Mexican peso pit when I held the deck and I could trade against it versus when I held the deck in the Deutschmark and I couldn't trade because there was a ban on dual trading. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm.
It is that simple. Like when you can see the deck, when you can see the flow, when you know where all the pain points are, you're a genius. Like it's all amazing. It's why did you sell them? Oh, wow, you sold them and all those stops got hit. You're a genius. Well, no, I just knew where all the stops were. Thank you very much.
Right.
Anyway.
Hey, bring up, I sent you a little thing just after we started here. If you would bring that little graphic up, I want to get your I want to hear your feedback, and then it'll bring us into the next price discovery. So I just sent you something.
Inside Market Vitals?
I sent it to you, yes.
Mm-hmm. Right on. Let me get to that. All I'm saying is
because I want to hear your chef's thoughts on that headline that I just sent you.
New York's Hochul.
Yeah, the governor.
Oh, yeah. Again, let me share it. So I can just share it from inside the net, Brett. I don't have to copy and paste and all the other bullshit that I do. Here it is from Inside Market Vitals, our personal chat, Nat. New York's Hochul proposes banning gas in new buildings. Ban gas stoves, fine. Ban gas heat, that's fine. Were we just all gonna be cold?
Yeah, you'll be cold and like it.
There is no chance that they have the electric grid to make everything electric in the place where the electrification of buildings started,
right?
In New York City. I got no problem. You think it's better for the environment? You got to produce the energy somehow.
Right.
So how are you going to do it? Where's your roadmap? Great headline.
I want to see Peter Ducey asking her that question because it's, again, some people are asking, it's just like, what the hell? Like, where are you going to get the heat? Where are you going to get how are you going to cook your food? How are you going to keep your feet warm and your kids warm? Oh, don't worry about it. Just buy more blankets.
And by the way, the fact of the matter is that we have 1,000 years of natural gas reserves.
Oh my God. It's unlimited and it's clean.
That's the facts. All right, man, let's look at natural gas because we got another little push down here.
We talked about it yesterday. That was
great cover, by the way. That was a clinic that you put on. It was a clinic.
Yeah, and I wish I would have gone short a little bit, but I did not. But this has turned around. Ran all the way up to 413, and then today all the way back to 354. Not quite to the low that we saw on last Friday. But this is still not out of the woods yet. And if it can't hold that level, it may break to whatever the next level may be, right? So just keep that in mind. You have a backstop here, though. If you're paying attention, that was probably a good buy down there in the 350s today, which I did buy some. And again, you want to run my stops, go below 340. So that's where they are. So
hey, Ken, mistrade stops, natural gas 340. Give me a 339.
But again, actually, you're going to have to do better than that because I'm already in the green already here because we were up significantly from those purchases this morning, and I'll just point that out again that this thing is active right now. And if you're trading, listen, if you want something to trade and you got the capital, natural gas is a great one right now. It's probably far better in my book, along with the bonds. The bonds and natural gas are my preferred vehicles as a trading device today versus The S&P and the NASDAQ, they're just dead, right? I mean, and you see that again, you go from, this is a 1 minute chart, but from just today, 392 down to 350, that's huge. I mean, that's a 10%.
That is there's been
Huge.
times throughout trading history where that was unthinkable.
Well, yeah, or that would take years for that range to play out, right? You'd buy some and hold it, and yeah, you didn't really want to be involved. And then when you look in the S&P, it's basically trading, you know, S&P and the NASDAQ are trading within its opening 5 minute bar. So again, if you want something to trade, natural gas is, you know, intraday is much more volatile than the SPOOs or the NASDAQ today. So.
And they have the micros available.
And there are micros for the smaller traders. That is correct.
Right on, right on. All right, Matt, we got spring training around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
The most important time of the year is the winter meetings. If you're a baseball aficionado, some people think it's October. It's not. It's the winter. It's just before spring training. And
well, you know, we were talking headlines today also on sports, and I'm going to bring this up because, like, when you first read this is where critical thinking is critical.
It's like peripheral vision.
But it says, you know, like I read it, I'm like, oh, Carlos Carrera agrees to $200 million from the Twinkies after the Mets deal falls through, and I'm like, oh shit, he got halved because they were talking like 370 initially, right? The Yankees and then and whoever, somebody else offered him, and then Stevie Cohen came in, right? But then you're like, oh, well, you know, he's still generational wealth. But then you read, you're like, oh, wait, it's 6 years for 200 versus he was going to get 12 for 315. So this is a better contract short term, not the long term money. But and then it says you can also get, so he's getting 6 years at, you know, it's more than 30. What is that? 35 million or so, 34, 35 million a year. And this was not that number. This was less than that, 12 years at 315. And he's got a $70 million kicker if over those 4 years he completes so many at bats. It doesn't say how many here, but there's a number. So if he hits 500 at bats a year, I'm sure, or something like that, you know, and he's healthy and his ankle isn't giving him trouble, he's guaranteed this 200 million. But shit, he'll get another 270. That's a fat freaking contract, Bob. But read this. This is almost like a. I point this out because sometimes you see these things with like GDP or CPI or jobs numbers. The headline says this, but when you read it, you're like, that's completely different.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, it's a different department. The headline writing department,
right?
And then the copy guys.
You're right. Yeah. So, anyways, I just point that out because as traders, sometimes, you know, that you're like, the headline, I should be selling this all day, right? But no, you should be buying this. This is a good contract for Mr. Carrera. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And your agent picked up a few extra bucks. So congratulations to him. What the heck?
All right.
Yeah, you know, sports wise, like this is kind of the, you know, college basketball is just getting into the, you know, conference seasons. You know, Michigan lost to Little Brother over the weekend. That was our first Big Ten loss. Looked horrible. Both teams looked horrible. Both teams are not going to win the NCAAs the way they're playing, both Michigan nor Michigan State. So let me just say that now. Get that out of the way. But I'll be rooting for.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
It's quiet out there today again, Bob. We're, you know, CPI is Friday, or excuse me, Thursday. What else do we have? I think we have, you know, we had Fed. I think Powell was talking this morning. The market kind of was down there on him talking. Tomorrow we have mortgage applications and crude oil, and then we got you know, the jobs, or rather CPI and natural gas numbers on inventory numbers on the 12th, which is Thursday also. So just keep that in mind. If you are trading natural gas, that is a potential.
Hey Matt, do me a favor, since we didn't talk about those next levels. Why don't you bring the natural gas up and fractal out so we can actually look at that? If let's say the inventories build because it has been milder. Where's that next level on the downside that if you think that Heinrich is correct in his analysis, that it's going to get mighty cold here towards the end of the month. And again, timing is everything in commodities, right? It's everything. It's the the amount of leverage applied in commodity contracts means that you better be pretty damn good at your timing. So bring that up. Bring up Natty from a longer term viewpoint.
Will do. And again, we've kind of done this, but 350 goes. I think $3 was probably the next area below. Trying to fractal out here quickly, but yeah, I mean 350 was kind of a low back here. Yeah, if we fall, looks like 250 potentially. The point of control on a daily chart. So this you're looking at 5 years here comes back to 295. So
beautiful. I mean, and that's important because that with the leverage, I don't think most people want to handle 60 cents of heat.
No,
so if 350
no. I mean,
goes,
that's another 20%. So you definitely you don't want to. That's what I said.
Right.
Hunt me out at 340 if you want to take me out.
Take me out.
And actually, it's above that because we're trading at 370 right now. So I'm already in the money. So it's a free trade at this point.
Free trade.
Which NAFTA. Is what you like. That's where you like to be.
NAFTA. All right, man. Let's talk just a little bit about the reverse sear last night and the Manja Meat Mojo. MEAT, not MEET. My name's not Mojo. It's Meat Mojo. Lee, not a fan of the Meat Mojo. Although I bet you Lee would be a fan of the Meat Mojo on Tempeh. I guarantee it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Most likely.
And right off the bat, Lee, it's going to have half the salt as the regular because it's basically pulverized various types of mushrooms, dried and pulverized. Giddy up, he says. That a boy, Lee. Giddy. But man, I gotta tell you, they performed better than I had actually anticipated. They were so fantastic. Yeah. We had the whole strip loin, right? Cut it into 6 steaks. Oh my God! We reverse seared it 250.
Steaks. They were
250 for 30 minutes, right? And then onto the Blackstone with onion, rosemary, butter. In a reverse sear, got that Blackstone as hot as it can get. I mean, you got to get, I'm a big believer in cooking that the heat needs to be something that you need to contend with. You know what I mean? Like your grill is so hot that a 5-alarm fire is a possibility. Yeah. Like you got the fire department on speed dial just in case it goes sideways with the grill. That's how hot the grill should be. And of course, you should have a safe zone, a part of that grill that isn't that hot, right? But man, you need the heat. Bring the heat.
You can't bring that heat, by the way, with electric heat or with electric.
Well, you can't control it very well. I'm sure. I mean, in all the penal institutions where they fried people, you can bring the heat with electricity pretty good. You just got to want to be putting somebody down,
right?
Anyway. That's what I'm saying. Please show me if you're a politician.
Let's, we talked about, again, interest rates, right? And all that talk yesterday, how, the same thing, like we're going to start cutting. Well, as we suggested yesterday, that UB was right to the number. Again, cycles happen in markets. Things don't go straight to the moon typically, and they don't go straight to the, to the shitter right away. But we pointed out yesterday that the bonds were, really gotten way out ahead of themselves and right to that golden ratio. And we talked about it on the show. We were right here, 141 and 2, it was like 141.01. As soon as we got off, it ran right up there, dinged it. Hopefully some of you sold into that number. Doesn't have to be exactly that number. I was in at like 141.05. And look at that thing. That thing just gave you 3 full handles today. 41, 40, 39. We traded 4 numbers. 1.4, 1.39, 1.38, 1.3, 1.40, all those numbers traded today. So,
and very interesting look on that's
now back to an area where if you're bullish, you probably want to buy it.
Right.
If you're bullish,
and it's clean. It's a clean looking chart, meaning that if it gets into that value zone and builds some time and volume, you better not be long because it's a giant value area.
Yeah.
Understand that's the risk.
Again, 133 up to 141, that was a big move. Half back just for that gets you back to this lower end of this value also. So for me, like I might give it a stab at like 137 on the long side only. And then if it gets below like 136.15, you're done. It's going lower. Like you said, it's, again, I think it's already, you know, on this a longer time horizon, Bob, it's already, you know, the top of value was struck and it was a 61.8 and it looks like we're going to trade back to 135s.
Right on.
Does that make
All
sense?
right. Yeah, it does. It does. 100%. Matt, the dollar trying to fight here and keep this bottom in. I'm not so sure. I kind of think that there's too much time between now and Thursday morning and that number. I think that the equities can rally because of that. And I think the dollar can break because of that. Like the bad news that's, or good news, either one. I think this market is leaning and there's just too much time. There's just too much time for it to hold, in my opinion. I think we could get maybe, I don't know, another couple lower, maybe 170, 180. I have a really nice level on the monthly and the DXY. You know what they say about quiet markets, Matt?
Never short a dull market.
Never short a dull market. And man, you couldn't tell me that this isn't dull. This is dull.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like the game last
we're
night.
almost back to the highs of the day on the SPOOs. They're up here. They're slowly running again. They dipped down below 3,900 here at 8:15 or so, 7:45. That was the low of the day, and now we're back up here to 39.32. So that was a good area again. As long as that low overnight held, it looked like to me like yesterday's oversoldness now became a buy today, and that's what we've done. We're not back to yesterday's levels, but you know, if they get them over 39.40 here, they might be able to run them back to 39.75 or so.
Right on.
I mean, these are just your levels right now. It's not too it's not too overly exciting out there, but it is what it is. This is where we are.
It is what it is. All right, Matt, that's all we got. That's what we got. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Mark. Please visit us at marketvellis.io. Please head over to amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo. And before we get the Meat Mojo out to the general public, I'm sending out a few beta tests to our friends Double Wide and Blake. It's going in the mail today, guys. So I appreciate and look forward to the feedback. The feedback last night was all thumbs up. Anyway,
Peter couldn't stop, my son couldn't stop talking about it. Couldn't stop talking about it.
He you know what, he had nothing to say when it was on his plate.
He didn't. I mean, for that,
nothing to say as he just kept mowing it down.
Which sometimes that kid can be picky. So that was pretty impressive.
Tell me he hates mushrooms. Well, he used to hate mushrooms.
No,
now he loves them.
I don't like them, but it tasted great. So
umami, baby, umami.
Tasted
all right,
great.
thank you.
It tasted. You know what it tasted like? Like it was like a burgundy. That's what it tasted like.
Nice fine wine.
No, like there was no wine in that sauce, but it literally, to me, Bob, tasted sweet, like it was, like French cooked in a burgundy. Exactly. Like it's very nice, very nice. Like wow,
very nice.
Chef Gruel should try some for sure.
I'll reach out to Chef. Hey, Chef, thanks for the. By the way, did you see Chef taped himself to the gas stove?
I love it.
He said, that's it. I've taped myself to the stove. I will be here until this nonsense gets reversed. Oh my goodness.
Gosh.
Unreal. Oh,
unreal.
All right, Lee, I will send you some, Lee. I will send you some. I have plenty, as the test batch is a couple pounds worth. Lee, it's just like the old days. I'm dealing pounds now. That's what I'll do. All right, pal. Have a great one, Matt. Thank you.
All right. Peace.